Morning, Masechet Pesahim, Nun Het Amoud Bet. Nun He Amoud Bet. Amara Papa. Let me get you in the context, Mr. Dan. Erev Pesach is a Yom Tov. Erev Pesach, we don't want you to do Menacha. Erev Pesach, you're bringing Korban Pesach. That's after Chatzot. What about before Chatzot? Minhag not to work. Don't do things you don't need. Okay? That's the minhag. Some places have minhag to work, some don't. That's not a real Chag, it's still a Yom Chol. Chol HaMoed of Pesach and Sukkot is even more problematic. That's really called Chol HaMoed. It's much more problematic to do Meracha on Chol HaMoed. So you got to know the halachot, and here we're discussing a little bit those halachot. What we're really discussing now is what if I want to bring an item to the shop? I'm not going to do Meracha, but am I even allowed to go and take my car to the mechanic? I'm allowed to take my glasses to fix. I'm allowed to take my shoes to fix. Imagine, I'm allowed to go bring it to the shop where the guy's going to work. That's what the Gemera says. So it says, Amara Papa, we're talking either, we're not sure if we're talking over here, if it's Erev Pesach, or we're talking on Chol HaMoed. So Amara Papa, Badiklan Rava. Rava tested us. Tnan. One Braita says, Monichin u'mevi'in keni mibeit ha'uman. One Mishnah says, you're allowed to bring Monichin, umevi'in, and you can go pick up your items from the shop, from the craftsman. Very good. I don't need it for the Chag. I can bring it, I can pick it up, no problem. So another problem, but the problem is another Braita says, en mevi'in kelim mi beit Amoud. You cannot go pick up your item from the Beit Haman. You're not allowed to. By the way, we're talking about before Chatzot. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know. That's what I said. No, we don't know. We don't know if we're talking. We don't know what we're talking about right now. We have one Braita that says, you can go drop off, you can pick up, no problem. Another Braita says.
What's the problem? In case I get it after during the talk.
So again, on Chol HaMoed, it's like half Chol, half Moed.
We're in Chol HaMoed now.
That's why yesterday we spoke about also Chol HaMoed and also Erev Pesach. We're in both. Now Rava is testing the students. Okay. I have one Braita, They contradict each other. Give me an answer. What do you say? We're going to see. One is Chol HaMoed, one is Pesach. One is Erev Pesach. Chol HaMoed is very strict. You can't bring your car to fix. I don't need my car. I have two cars. One car I'm going to use it on Chol HaMoed, and one car I just need it for after. I need it for 3 weeks later. I can't bring it on Chol HaMoed to the mechanic. That's an action of Chol. You can't do that on Chol. Now, can I do that Erev Pesach? Maybe Erev Pesach I can drop it off. Erev Pesach tomorrow, I need the car in 2 weeks. Okay, I'll drop it off. Now he'll fix it whenever he wants. I'm allowed to Erev Pesach, seemingly yes. It's more lenient to Erev Pesach. So one Braita says you cannot bring and you cannot pick up. We don't know which day it is. And one Braita says you can bring it, drop it off, and you can also pick it up if it's ready. Another Braita says you can't bring it and you for sure can't pick it up because you can't. And mivin. What it says there, Vatnan mivin. Let me read it again. Sorry. I'll read it again. You can bring them and pick them up, even though it's not for the Chag HaMoed. I cannot pick them up. Then for sure I cannot bring them. But if I'm scared that somebody's going to steal them, so the guy wants his money. Okay. The mechanic said, my job is done, come pay me. Okay, I'll come pay you, but I'm not going to pick up the item. The watch is finished. I don't need it for the Chag. Or anything it is, I need it for the Chag. So I can pay the money and I'll pick it up after the Chag. But if you're scared the guy's going to steal, once you pay them, you can bring it, take it out of the store and bring it to the guy, bring it somewhere close. Don't even bring it to your house. It's a whole item. Imagine a saw. Imagine some utensil that you need for cutting diamonds, and we're not cutting diamonds this week. So what do you do with the machine? I just put it, next door to Chatzer Achet. Take it out of the goy string and leave it in the trunk of the car, whatever you want. Umashninan, lechatzer achet. Umashninan, leave them there. La kasha. Kan ba'arbasa, kan b'chol HaMoed. So how does they wanted an answer? Very easy. One is on Erev Pesach and one is on Chol HaMoed. On Chol HaMoed, you can't do nothing. Don't pick it up. Don't bring it there. But if you're scared the guy's going to steal it, then you can go tzvar aved. Just take it out of his place and leave it. Don't bring it back to your house.
But on you're going to lose. You're going to have a loss, not a profit. Or
that's exactly what we're talking about. I have now. You have a machine for crown ring, okay? and you got to bring it to this shop. And it's not regulated, it's like some going this place. He wants his money. I finished, it's Chol Hamoed, you pay me today, buddy. So okay, I'm giving you $1,000, and now you leave the little machine by him. Yeah, this guy's a stealer. I gave you the machine. He's going to steal the machine. Okay, I'll take it. But since it's Chol Hamoed, I can't be really carrying this. So what do? Bring it to a safe place. Don't even bring it back to your house. Put it in the Chatzer Achet. We're assuming that you have a safe haven right next to where the shop is. Okay? The Gemara says, so that's no problem. One Mishnah says you're allowed to bring it is Erev Pesach. One you cannot bring it is Chol Hamoed. V'ibait Eima, another way of answering, actually, maybe we could say they're both Chol Hamoed. V'nakasha kan b'mamino, kan b'she'eno mamino. One way you believe in, one way you don't believe in. If you trust the guy, don't pick it up. And if you don't trust him, you're allowed to pick it up. So maybe we could say that it's both Chol Hamoed, and again, they're having a loss. But the Gemara says, yeah, we even have a baita like that. Vatanya, mivin kelim mebet hauman, kegon akad mebet hakadav. So let's say I need a pillow for my Pesach. I need a pillow, I need a bed, I need a mattress, and I need it for the Chag. I can go pick it up. There's no problem. Vakos mebet azagag, azagag. A kos, I need my cup for the kiddush. I can go pick it up. Chol Hamoed. There's no problem. Aval lot semer mebet tzava. So now I have wool, and I'm going to make a sweater out of the wool. Now the dyer, he tinted my color. He turned it into purple or the green or whatever, so I cannot pick it up because I don't need that for the Chag. I cannot pick it up. And not an item from the craftsman as well. Now the guy doesn't have what to eat. The guy says, you pay me today, I need my food. Okay, I'll pay you now. No, I'll pick it up over the Chag. And if you can't, if you don't trust him, so take it and put it somewhere close by to the store that you trust. You pay him. And if you're scared that it's going to be stolen even from the place around, then you can bring it quietly to your house, that tzemen. So what are we trying to say now? We have one bite that says you can't bring. One bright that says you can bring, and what did we say the answer was? One is Erev Pesach, no problem. Erev Pesach is more lenient. You can drop off your dry cleaning Erev Pesach. You can drop off your car Erev Pesach. You can bring your glasses to fix Erev Pesach. But you can't bring them on Chol Hamoed. That's one way of learning it. You can't bring them, pick them up Chol Hamoed. You can bring them, pick them up on Erev Pesach. Another way of learning it is, oh no, it's Chol Hamoed itself. And when we said that you can't pick it up if you trust the guy. But if you guy's a stealer, pick up your thing. He wants his money. You paid him. So now he's gonna pretend like you don't have it. He's gonna pretend like it's lost. So you're allowed to pick it up. The Gemara doesn't like that. You know why? The Gemara says, "Tiratztem mivi'in." Now we understand that the Brayta says you can pick them up. Memorichin kasha. But what about bringing them? You can't tell me the second Brayta is Chol Hamoed because that would understand why you're allowed to pick it up because it's Dvar Aved. You're gonna have a loss. He's gonna steal from him. But who said you're allowed to bring it if you don't need it? So it must be the katane and mivin. You can't bring it. You cannot bring it. You can't pick it up. Because you can then morichin. You cannot bring it. So really the answer is, like we said before, Chol Hamoed and Erev Pesach. Bottom line answer is that you're allowed to. I don't need this item. I don't need it for the Chag. I'm allowed to bring it Erev Pesach. Erev Pesach is somewhat strict. Don't do work, but I can drop. I'm not doing the work. I can drop off the item. You might have said even dropping off an item, you can't do that. You're allowed to do that. When it comes to Chol Hamoed, you can't bring an item. You can't pick up an item unless the item is needed for the Chol Hamoed. If I'm going to go on a trip now to New York with my car, and my car needs to change the tires or do an oil change, I can go do it. That's for the Chag itself. Anything you need for the Chag, or if I dropped off my car before the Chag and now I need to pick it up during Chol Hamoed to drive to up north for Chol Hamoed, you're allowed to do that. But something that I don't need for Chol Hamoed, I'm not allowed to drop it off. I'm not allowed to pick it up. New Mishnah. Shitshad Varim Asu Anshe Yericho. Yericho was a city in Eretz Yisrael. 3 things they did. They did 6 things. Al Shlosha Michu Biyadam. 3 things the rabbi said, stop, we don't like it. Al Shlosha Lo Michu Biyadam. 3 things the rabbis didn't like, but we close the eyes. Right, Shaul? Sometimes you have to close the eyes. Sometimes we cannot close the eyes. Sometimes you close the eyes. Veroen, Shalom Michu Biyadam. These are the things that we didn't stop them. Markivin dekalim kol hayom. Erev Pesach, they used to graft dekalim, palm tree, to get some good dates out of it. And I need Chaim to tell me what the word of markivin over there. It means to graft. The bottom line. Markivin dekalim kol hayom kulo. Erev Pesach, they would graft the dates. Basically, they were working the trees.
What does that mean, graft the dates?
Yeah, they were. You're going to see in the Gemara what it means is they were taking a palm tree and it was not giving up any more fruits, and they had a certain way of, adding some stuff, adding some stuff to the palm tree that would give her more fruits. The Gemara is going to say.
So they open
they open a gazelle.
And they put some stuff.
No,
Exactly.
they put enough inside and you give a.
So I'll tell you right away what the Gemara says. Is the Gemara says that certain a palm tree, when it's going to dry out, there's a certain way to make a concoction. You put some flour inside, you put some hadassim inside, you cook it, and you pour it in the palm tree, and it stays live, and it still gives you more fruits. That's one thing we do. Second thing is, did you know that there are two types of palm trees? There's a female palm tree, there's a male palm tree. The male, yes, the male gives the fruits. The male gives the fruits and the female doesn't give the fruits. So what they would do is they would take a branch, like he's saying Natan, they would take the branch from the male one, they would cut open a hole and they put the branch in the female one and it would give our fruits. The problem is, this is Erev Pesach. Hey, you're supposed to be baking matzot. What are you doing this? Okay, leave them. We're not gonna, it's not asur. Yalla, on laisse passer. We're not gonna make a war. You know, the rabbis, there's a lot of things that they would rather fix. But some things they know, I have to pick my battles. You hear me, Rabbi Shaul? Sometimes got to pick my battles. The rabbis, the Chachamim, the Sanhedrin, if we go on everything, we're going to lose them. If you choose the main ones and tell them, guys, this one I'm closing the eyes, but this one you got to listen. So that's what they were doing in Yericho. So they let them continue to graft on Erev Pesach. Second thing that they let them do. What else did they do? The Gemara says, they would not say the Shema Yisrael the proper way. We're going to see in the Gemara what it means. They would swallow, they would korech, they would wrap it together. We'll see what it means in a second. You know that the Omer is on the second day of Pesach. That's when all the wheat, all the things that were grown till then are forbidden to eat until the next day after Pesach. When we bring the barley, we bring it to the Beit Mikdash, that becomes the Kol Bana Omer. Once we did that, we gave it to Hashem first, now everybody's allowed to use it. The real problem is to eat it. You can't eat the wheat, but you're allowed to cut the wheat. But there's Gzera de Rabbanan to cut the wheat, you're allowed to cut it, but don't put it in a pile. Because if you're piling it, it looks like you're very close to eating it, it looks like it's finished, you might eat it. And they were cutting and they were piling. Chachamim, they closed their eyes. The Kriyat Shema, they closed their eyes. Erev Pesach, they closed their eyes. The Omer, because all of this is the Rabbanan, it's not really big Doraita. The Gemara is going to say a little, here's what they were upset about. They were permitting themselves to use gimziot shel hegdesh. I'll explain. There's a certain tree called the haruf. Two different types of trees. It grows. It's like a little stump. At a certain point, the guy would say, "This is hegdesh. It's owned by the Beit Mikdash. So now it's owned by the Beit Mikdash." But in the following years, different parts of the tree would grow. So what do they do? Yeah, the bottom part is the Beit Mikdash, and the top part I'm going to eat my carrot. It's mine. And that was asur, because the whole thing is of the Beit Mikdash. Now you're talking about something owned by Hashem, and even the offshoots, what's growing out of it, it's not yours. So this, they told him, Rabotai, everybody stop. They put the signs everywhere, asur, and they forbid this. Ve'ochlin mitachat nisharim b'Shabbat. You know that fruits that fall off the tree on Shabbos, you can't eat them. And the reason you can't eat, there's no problem. But if we let you eat the fruit that the cherry fell off or the apple fell off, you're going to go up and pick up an apple. And picking up an apple is an isur doraito. So they told him, stop eating the fruits that fell off the tree on Shabbos. V'notnin pe'ah liyerek. I need your help, Chaim. Umichu b'yadam chamim. They were also giving pe'ah on yerek. Yerek, please. What did it say over there? Vegetable. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Why? You don't need to.
So what is the real?
It's
only on pirot. Okay. And Beit Midrash
no, on a sadeh.
Okay, so on vegetables, there's no din of peah. Let me explain to you. If you have cucumbers, and you have tomatoes, if you have wheat and stuff like that, and you have fruits and apples, you got to give peah. There's three things you have to give. When you're a farmer, one is you got to leave a corner. That corner, don't touch it. You take everything except the corner. The poor people are going to have what to eat. They know when it's time to harvesting, they're going to come. That's called peah. Peah, you don't have to leave on cucumbers. You don't have to leave them on tomatoes. And they would leave it. What's the problem? I'm doing machmir. No, it's not at all. It's a big problem. Because what happens is that since that's really yours, when you take it, you give 2% to the Kohen, you give 10% to the Levi. By leaving it to the poor people, Peah doesn't give to the Levi. When the poor guy goes to get the apple in the field, he doesn't give anything to the Levi, he eats everything. So you're losing, you're giving a hefsed, you're making a loss to the Kohen and to the Levi by giving the Peah, which is not Chayav b'Peah. And this, the rabbis came in and said, stop, please put an end to this. The Gemara says, Tana Rabban.
Why would you do it?
Peah. Poor people are not exempt. If your guy's a poor farmer, he has to give. But peah, there's no maser to give. No, there's no maser, there's no truma to give.
So the person who benefits from it?
Yeah, just eat whatever you want, take whatever you want.
Even if he's not poor.
It's reserved for the 4 people, but anybody's allowed to eat payah.
What I'm
Yes.
trying to say, if someone, is passing by.
Yes. Everybody's allowed to pay. There's a way to do it. He can make himself poor for that moment, and he gives a. You go to a soup kitchen. Who's going to go to a soup kitchen? A rich guy's not going to go to the soup kitchen. But sometimes in Muncie, there's and the guy's nowhere to eat. He's going to go and eat breakfast in the shul. It's a free breakfast. It's paid. It's meant in Muncie. There's a place. You can't believe this. In Vishnitz, in the shul Vishnitz, there's a room. It's breakfast every day. Shefa, whoever wants to eat. Major operation. So you have their avrichim, you have people traveling like these guys, they eat breakfast over there. And sometimes you have a guy just passing by. It's mechubad. It doesn't feel like it's a soup kitchen. It's a breakfast in the shul, but really...
The guy in Uman, that's
something else.
The guy that
Yeah, it's something else. Next level.
Was it Vision? No, it's not Vision.
Zlatchov over there. What's his name?
The breakfast place.
Unbelievable. I went with my son, I was blown away.
So they do it for the people. So who's going to go eat there? Usually it's the people that don't have. Buy your sandwich at the store when you're going to collect. But sometimes the guy's stuck, he can eat the breakfast. So even the payah, from memory, a guy's allowed to eat payah because he can make himself poor that day. Today he's poor, he doesn't have where to eat. Okay, let's continue. Tana Rabbanan. Shishat barim asu Cheskia melech alav shalom. Al shlosha duro ve'al shlosha lo duro. Cheskia melech was tzaddik gadol. Cheskia melech was supposed to be Mashiach. He was the son of, if I'm not mistaken, Menashe. What is it? Huh? What does it say there, Chaim?
Menashe was his son.
Oh, so Achav was his father? Who is the father?
Yeah, didn't want to get married.
Who's the father? Who's the father of? Yeah, who's the father of?
Menashe, who was the father of Menashe.
Achaz, my mistake. Achaz is the father of Cheskiyahu. Cheskiyahu is supposed to be the Mashiach, he's so tzaddik. His father was Rasha Mirusha that brought Avodah Zarah and all of Eretz Yisrael. So 3 things Cheskiyahu did, and Chachamim accepted it. 3 things they didn't accept it. What did they accept? על שלושה לא הודו לו. גירר עצמות אביו על מיטה של חבלים והודו לו. When it came to bury his father, he didn't bury his father in a nice way. He brought him out in like instead of bringing out in a nice way, on ropes. He dragged his body on ropes, if I'm not mistaken, that's what it said. On bones.
He dragged his father's bones.
His father's bones on the ropes before he came to bury them in a very, very non-respectful place that it was for the king. To give a kapara. And Chachamim accepted that. You wait a second, you have kavod av. The kavod of the av is to give him a kapara. Especially some say after the death. You don't have, for a father, Rasha, it's a machloket, you have to be mechabed. So even the opinion that says you have to mechabed when he's alive, when he's dead you don't have to mechabed. So his good is to put him on to bury him in a bizayon way. Now what's interesting, I saw the Mefarshim explains in the Dirshu, I think, he says that, 1 second, so every Rasha we should do it to them. The Chevra Kedisha should do that for every Rasha. So they say, no, that's not the kapara. The kapara is that people will see, 1 second, that's what they're doing to the king. Oh, it's not good to be Rasha, they're going to do tshuva b'chayav, and that's a schut for him. Understand? The kapara is not on the dead body, the kapara is on the people that will see it. The Gemara says, Kitet nachash anechoshet. You know that Moshe Rabbeinu at a certain point, Hashem sent a plague, sent snakes, and there was now a big snake of copper, everybody looked at it and they became healed. So this was still around in the time of Chesed. People were making the Avodah Zarah. They thought it was Avodah Zarah, so he took and he grinded it, he put it away, and he threw it out.
C'est de ça qui vient le signe du serpent sur les bracelets.
Wow, Chazak.
Yeah, the pharmacy.
Chazak. I never knew that. Natan Shkoyach. Ve'odulo. Ganaz Sefer Rifuot. You know the Shlomo Melech had a Sefer Rifuot. And anything you needed to get healed from, it was in there. And Cheskel Melech threw it away. Put it in Gnizah. You know why I did that? Because people weren't trusting Hashem anymore. And they didn't have, any, when a person gets sick, he starts to do tshuva. He starts to reflect about his life, what he's doing right, he's not wrong. People were just trusting that thing and they weren't doing tshuva. Ve'odulo. And they accepted, good job. Ashlosha lo odu. 3 things he didn't like. Now you should know that Melech Hashuv, he was planning to make a war with Cheskel Melech. Hashem gave him a promise, you're not going to lose. I promise you I'm going to protect you. Cheskel Melech prepared himself to do 3 things. He prayed to Hashem, he gave a present, and he prepared himself for war. Like Yaakov Avinu when he went to Esav. Against Melech Hashuv. Cheskel Melech, he was going to do a war. He was scared of the Melech Hashuv. So what did he do? They said he gave gold. You know what the gold he got? He took the gold off the doors of the Beit Mikdash and he sent it as a present. You want to get a guy not to bother you? Give him a gift. Appease him. Not good. You should have trusted us to Hashem. Satam megichon. Now there's water that people drink from. So he knew that if the enemy is going to come into the country, we're going to plug up the water. this spring over here. We're going to hide this spring. There's no water, even for the people of Israel, but also for the people of them. The enemies are not going to have water to drink. If they don't have water to drink, so we're preparing ourselves for war. I saw that also they bring down. Why lo dulu chachamim? 1 second. You're putting, on one hand, you're putting away sefer refuot because you want us to trust Hashem. But when it comes to the war against the enemy, why are you not trusting Hashem? Especially if you have a promise from Hashem. So they didn't like that. If really you have a war and you have no promise from Hashem, do everything on Piteva. But if Hashem promised you're going to win, you don't have to do those things. And that's what he do. If Hashem promised you. By the way, you know how he won the war?
He went to sleep.
He went to sleep.
Yeah.
And Malach came, he killed a few 100,000 soldiers in one night.
800,000.
In one night. 800,000, 400 or 800,000 in one night. So he didn't have. If Hashem tells you b'nevuah, don't do nothing, I'm going to make a miracle, don't start preparing yourself for war. If not, prepare yourself. Biju. The Gemara says, Iber Nisan b'Nisan v'lo duno. And also Rashi says that it was already Nisan, and he made a double Adar. I want you guys to follow, please. He made a double Adar. Why did he make a double Adar? Because he made a double Adar. Iber Nisan, but look at Rashi. Iber Nisan meaning he made an Adar Sheni. He made an extra Adar. Let's look at Rashi together if you want to see it. Rashi says, Iber Nisan b'Nisan. Lachar shenichnas Nisan, Nimlach, he changed his mind, says Rashi. V'asau Adar Sheni. You know, sometimes one Adar to Adar. Why did he do that? It was already Nisan. You can't switch. He switched. Why did he switch? Because I need people. He was just a new king. And he was getting everybody pure from the Avodah Zarah. So now I want everybody to go to Mikveh and Paraduman. You come and do Korban Pesach. So I need an extra month. But that wasn't right. It was already Nisan. You're not supposed to do it. He wasn't supposed to do it in that case. There's a few shittot what he did over there. Chachamim didn't like what he did. So v'lo dulo. By the way, he was supposed to be Mashiach. He was supposed to be Mashiach. Kipshutum. Okay. You see that even Mashiach can make a mistake. Markivim dekalim koreim. So now let's go back to that thing in the Mishnah we said that people of Yericho, what they were doing is they were grafting the dekalim. They were making the dekel, the palm tree was able to give shoots. How did they do that? Amar Rabbi Yehuda, mighty asadara. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, they would bring a live hadas, myrtle. The shicha de dafna. There's a certain fruit which is called dafna. And they would take like a beer, like an alcohol from that dafna. Bekimcha de sare. They would take flour from barley. De ramu b'mana, and they put it in a cup. De lochan fi ala 40 yomin, and it was 40 days from the time that we grinded the barley into flour. Umar teche, they would bubble it up, they would heat it up. V'shadu ledikla biliba. The dekel has like a heart, you know, like the palm that we eat. The palm is like the heart of the dekel. He would put it in there in that hole. And that would continue to give it life. It was so good that it would allow it to maintain its moisture and still give up fruit, seems to me. And now so much moisture, I don't know how it worked, maybe grab the moisture from the air, but all the fruits that were in the vicinity for Amot, if they didn't get the potion that this one got, they would dry up right away. So if you want to do it, you have to do them all the fruits. Maybe that's why Chachamim let them do it the whole day. So what they would do is, like I told you at the beginning of the show, they would take a branch of the male palm tree, and they would put it in a nukvata, the female one that doesn't give up fruits, and now the female one would give fruits as well. We're going to go fast now. It's a nice Gemara, quick Gemara.
How do you determine a male or a female palm tree?
When you're in the field, you know between this tree and this tree.
Il y a de la poudre dans les zahar. C'est ça l'orzev que j'envoie au femme.
Incroyable.
Il y a de la poudre blanche.
Pourquoi c'est le mâle qui produit? Pourquoi c'est le mâle qui produit? And why is it the male that produces and not the female? Which is supposed to be the opposite, right?
We're gonna have to ask a farmer. I don't know. Okay, Chaim's going to give us. Chaim's going to give us the answer tomorrow. Okay, Chaim's going to give us the answer. What means they were wrapping up the Shema Yisrael? The Chachamim let them do it. Ech Yavdi, Amar Rav Yehuda, Omrim Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, V'lo hayu mafsikim. They weren't saying the dal did long. You're supposed to say Hashem Echad, whatever, they were supposed to say, not Echad, that's for sure not good. It's Hashem Echad, you're supposed to be Ma'arich the Dalit. And that Ma'arich the Dalit separates between Hashem Echad ve'ahavta. Because Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad is your acceptance of Hashem's yoke, the divine yoke. Now, ahavta is what you have to do. Now Hashem is telling you what you have to do. First tell me you're with me. First tell me you accept. Now I'm going to tell you what you have to do. And they weren't separating. That's not good, but Chamim close their eyes. Rava amar mafsikin hayu. And Rava said they were actually mafsikin. They were saying, Hayom alevavecha. You're supposed to do stop with it. Hayom alevavecha.
No, al-levavecha, because there's two lamed.
Okay, you're right. But the problem here, the Gemara is saying is Hayom. They were saying Hayom alevavecha. What does that sound like? Demashma Hayom. If you don't put the pause, it sounds like only do mitzvot today. Tomorrow you do whatever you want. That's not wrong. Stop. You got to listen to the Hashem always. Hayom. And then, let's read it again. Tell me the pasuk how it goes. Hayom. So I'm commanding you today. They should always be on your heart. Not that I'm commanding you that should be on your heart today. And they were putting it together, and Chachamim said, okay, leave it. Another Braita says like this. Rabbi Meir said, like we just said, they weren't stopping. They weren't doing the dalid long. Rabbi Yehuda Omer mafsikin hayu. They weren't saying Baruch Shem. And the Gemara explains why. Why do we say Baruch Shem? כדי להריש רבי שמעון בן לקיש. דאמר רבי שמעון בן לקיש, ויקרא יעקב את בניו ויאמר, אספו והגידו לכם. Yaakov Avinu called his children before passing away. And he wanted to tell them what would be the Geulah. Bikesh Yaakov legalot lebanav ketz hayamin. He wanted to tell them what the Geulah is going to be called, and it's called ketz hayamin. Why is it called ketz hayamin? Very interesting. Rashi explains that Hashem made it that the Jews are in Galut. It's like his right hand is tied behind his back. Give a boxer to fight with his right hand behind his back. What is he going to do? Can't do nothing. Hashem Kivyachor tied his hand not to protect Am Yisrael. One day he's going to loosen up the hand, and you touch my kid. You know the father that comes, the guy, the bully beat up the kid, the mafioso father. Chas v'shalom compared to Hashem, but Hashem, the tzaddik, the melech, he's going to come and say, "You touch my prince." And Hashem one day he's going to let out the right hand, and he's going to give techa. There's going to be a 2,000 years settling a score. There's going to be settling a score of 2,000 years. Yaakov Abinu wanted to say when it's going to be. By the way, from here we see that before when we said that not everybody knows when the ketz is, it's only regular people. But tzaddikim, he seemed to have known when the Geulah was going to be. But what happened? Nistakla mimenu shchina. Pitom he became blank. The shivua, the nivua, he lost it. Amar shema chas v'shalom yesh b'mitati psul k'Avraham. 1 second. I'm about to tell my kids big secrets. Maybe there's a pasul over here. Like Avraham, she'atzah mimenu Ishmael. Avraham and Ishmael, you're not going to give him over secrets. V'avi Yitzrak, my father. She'atzah mimenu Esav. My father had me and I had Esav. They were telling him, you're Israel. Shema Yisrael, what are you suspecting us? Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. We're all one. We're all with you. We're all on the same page. Hashem is one. So, he was so happy, he said Baruch Shem. There's a lot of sodot over here, what is Baruch Shem? But you see that Yaakov Avinu said Baruch Shem. So what do we do now in our Kriyat Shema? Hashem said in the Torah through Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to say Shema ve'ahavta. Namru, we should say no Amra Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, the Torah didn't say Baruch Shem. Lo namru, Amru Yaakov. Amru Yaakov. 1 second, but Yaakov said it, so we should say it. We can't say it. Moshe Rabbeinu said it, but we shouldn't say it. But Yaakov said it. What do we do? Itkinu sheomrim oto bechash'ai. We say it quiet. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Amre de Rabbi Ami. That's why we say it quiet. Yeah. The Gemara says Amre Rabbi Ami Mesher bat Melech she'richa kitzek. I'm sure there's sodot over here, but he gives a mashal. This mashal is very interesting. Like a princess, she started to smell some beef jerky, like some good meat. It's like it's a very cheap food for a rich person, and she started to smell and she wanted to eat it. Amra Im tomar yesh lagnai. She starts telling you, go buy me beef jerky. It's a busha for the princess to eat beef jerky. Lo tomar yesh latzar. She has pain. She wants to eat it. Her body wants it. So what do? Itchilu avdei davila bechashai. So her slaves were bringing her quietly that nobody should see that she's eating this stuff. What is that mashal for Baruch Shem Kivod? Understand? Meaning, we should say it. If we don't say it, Yaakov Avinu is going to have a problem. But if we do say it, Moshe Rabbeinu, so we say it quietly. So that's the mashal gives her. Amar Rabbi Abahu, itkinu she'omrim oto b'kol ram. So we say it loud. The beginning they used to mipnei tarumot v'taminin. Sorry. So says Rabbi Abahu, the minim, the people that were not believing in Torah Shebal Peh, we start to say it out loud because of them. Because they were saying, you're saying things that are not appropriate quietly. We don't know what you guys are saying. They were starting to mock them. So we're saying it loud. We're saying something kosher. We're not doing something non-kosher over here. So even though we're supposed to say it quietly, because the Gemara, we say it loud so the minim shouldn't hear it. Maybe that's why we do it in Yom Kippur. I don't know why we do it in Pshat Abiyom. But in Narda, that's the city in Babel, there's no minim, there was no reform over there, so they would say it quietly, the Gemara says. Why do we say it in Yom Kippur? I'm not sure. I'm now having a doubt. Al Pisod, I know why, but Al Pisod, what it is, if it seems to me, is Baruch Shem, is everything, Hashem Echad. What about the low places? What about all the Averot and all that? Is that also from Hashem? Shh, it is, but let's not mefarsem that. On Yom Kippur, it's such a day of kapara where we're getting a tshuva that even those nifilot is all from Hashem, even the low places, Baruch Shem Kippur. That's why we say it out loud. But Pshat, can't remember. Tanu Rabbanan, Shisha Dvarim asu anshe Yericho. Another few more minutes.
I believe it's because everybody's gathered on Yom Kippur, and we say the Tefillah Arvit, we pray the Avarianim, which usually they're not present with us. So we have to bring consciousness to everyone, and the only time you can do it is because Kibayom Hazeh, Yechaper. That means there's a kapara for everyone.
So that's Chassidut or that's the Pshat?
That's the Pshat. That's what I learned from long time.
Maybe I'm not sure why, but maybe it sounds like what you're saying here. If there's minim, we say it out loud. If there's no minim, we say so. Like we're saying, since everybody's on Yom Kippur, maybe you got some minim over there. Maybe that's the Pshat, and since we have minim, then that's what we're saying. It may be loud on Yom Kippur. We're gonna check that up. Chaim's going to check it out. Tanu Rabbanan, Shisha Dvarim asu anshe.
Take notes. You have coffee. Take notes.
No, just get.
You have a checklist?
No, he has the chat GPT and he has the English Gemara. What do you want? Tanu Rabbanan, Shisha Dvarim asu anshe Yericho, Shlosha b'ritzon chamim, Shlosha shelo b'ritzon chim. So 3 things. Now it's a different baita. Different. 3 things they did. Chachamim said good, thumbs up, and 3 things Chachamim said no. Beru b'tzon chamim. What is good? Markivin tikarim kol hayom. We said before it's not good. Now they're saying it's actually very good that they were grafting the palm trees on Erev Pesach. B'kochin l'shema. They're rushing through. They're wrapping up the Kriyat Shema. Kotzrin lifnei haomer, and they were cutting the produce even before the Omer was bought. Here was not good. Like I told you before, to cut it is not a problem. To put it in piles is a problem. That Chachamim didn't accept. Portzin pratzot beginoten ובפרדסן נאכין נשר לעניים בשני בצורת בשבתות בימים טובים. Like I told you, fruits that fall from the tree, you can't eat them on Shabbos. What would they do? They would open up little paths inside their gardens, inside their farms, so that the poor people could come in Shabbat, and anything that fell on Shabbat, they could eat it. They were doing chesed, but that's not the way you have to do it, because it's going against the Halacha Shabbat. ומתירים גם זיות של הקדש, של חרוב ושל שקמה. Like we said before, they were allowing themselves to eat the offshoot of the charuv, which we said before it's owned by the Beit Mikdash. When you donated the first part to the Beit Mikdash, Amarlu Rabbi Yehuda, im birtzon charamim ayusin, yukol adam osin. 1 second, if that's a good thing, so why only the people in Yericho were doing it? Everybody should be doing it. That's obviously not true. Ella, elu ve'elu shelo birtzon charamim. They were both not good. Hayu osin ad shlosha michu biyadam, shlosha no michu biyadam. 3, so we go back to our Mishnah. 3 were good. They were not all not good. 3 they said stop, and 3 they said then they closed their eyes. Beru shelo michu biyadam. What did they close their eyes to? Markivin dekanim, the grafting of the palm tree. Korayom kochin shema. They let them say this. They're not going to start making every time the guy's going to say Kriyat Shema not good. The Chazan is going to stop him. They would let it pass. And they were piling up the things. The produce, even before the Omer was brought, they closed the eyes, at least they weren't eating them. Here's what they stopped them from doing. They were matirim gam ziot shel hekdesh, the offshoots of the charuv, which was now owned by the Beit Mikdash. They stopped them. Shalchu v'shel shikma, b'rutzim partzon beginotem, pardesen nachim nesher naniim b'shabbatot damim tovim. B'shanei batzoret, they were letting the poor people eat the fruits that fell off from the trees on Shabbat and Yom Tov, and they stopped them from doing that. V'notnim peah leyerek, and they were giving peah. They were giving from vegetables peah, and they said stop that because you're taking away from the maaser. Umichu bi adam chachamim. Chachamim stopped them from doing it. Chazak ubaruch.